his chance! And Charlie Wellens has scored! Goodness me! In the 5th minute of additional time and put Leyton Orient in front. And Leyton Orient have come from behind and surely have picked up 3 precious points.
Welcome to Orient Live. I hope you've got your passports packed because it's an international away day of sorts today as the O's travel to Wales to take on Cardiff City. And we're going to be bringing you all the action here on Orient Live, and I'm delighted to be joined in the studio with UEFA journalist Elliot Byrne and ex-Orient striker Jabo Ibere. Lads, very big game for the O's today. Crucial that we pick up points of some kind. It's been a rough few weeks.
Definitely has. It's a tall ask going over to Cardiff today, but you know, if anyone can do it, Orient can. Sometimes they surprise us in those games when they're in front of a great stadium and a big club. So, but it's very important to try and get back to winning ways.
The performances have been there or thereabouts, conceding bad goals at times, and you know, the Reading game, Richie has been saying it was, in his eyes, a really good game of football. We've got to step up and make it click today.
Yeah, that's something Richie's talked about quite a lot in the last few weeks, is that I think at times where fans have been frustrated with the performances, Richie's been quite buoyed by them. He seems to have thought that the performances have been good. It's just cutting out those small errors, making sure we don't concede silly goals and taking our chances when they come.
I think Cardiff are a big club for this level. They've been in a bit of turmoil of recent years. But you know, they've got a very good side. It's a big stadium, as you said. What's it like going to kind of one of the league big boys? Can we almost use that in our favour? I
think you do. I think you do in the terms of leading up to the game. It's exciting. It's a big stadium. You know, you're going to get a big crowd. It's going to be a good atmosphere. But that soon changes once they step out onto the pitch. And sometimes you see, I remember playing Wolves many years ago, and they've come down to League One at the time. I was like, we're going to Wolves, big stadium, it's going to be good. But you see them start whipping the ball around. You're like, oh, okay, we've got a game on our hands. So you have to just turn up with the right sort of like mindset that we're going there. It's a big stadium, but we really want to go there and really put them under the cosh a bit.
They've got off to a decent start as well, Cardiff.
Yeah, very good start, particularly the opening few weeks. The last couple of weeks, they struggled a little bit. They've lost 2 of their last 4. They've only won 1. They're a young team, Cardiff. They didn't do a lot of business in the summer. They only brought 3 players in, and they've really kept faith in a side that's been mainly put together from the academy. So it's a young team, and there's definitely opportunities there for us to impose ourselves on them.
And unfortunately, Jabo, they probably look at us and look at our recent results and see it as on paper a winnable game, and one that they'll really be taking to us. So we need to be on our game, especially in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the last time out for Cardiff, I think they lost to Burton, but they had like 77% possession, 20 chances on goal, and lost 1-0. So they're going to be raring to get out and do something. So we have to be up for the battle today.
We certainly do. Right then, okay, before we take a look at the O starting lineup, let's hear from the gaffer, Richie Wellens.
Gaffer, Cardiff City to come on Saturday, one of the biggest clubs in their division. How much are we looking forward to Saturday's game?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I don't think Cardiff have been in League One for a long time, so obviously within that brings a difficult game, a big club, a nice stadium. And they've had a good start. I like the style of football, the way that he's set up. They pass, they move, the combinations in the final third are really, really good. So it'll be a tough game, but listen, we've not been far off in recent games. People keep saying to me that it'll click, but it's getting to the point where we need to start making it click. Again, I'll praise the players this week. They've been excellent in training, but we need to start picking up results as well.
I mean, how do you go about as manager, making sure it does click? What can you do to?
Ultimately, it's the same messages. It's just practice. Keep saying the same messages. I know it can get boring at times, but it will fixate on a lot of the players. And I do think that once we win a few on the bounce, then the confidence will come streaming back, and then you start to see the real true identity of the individuals. But we've not been far off. I thought Reading was really, really good football game. In terms of the way that we played, we should have won the game. And Stevenage do what Steve. They're brilliant. They're really good. We speak about set plays all week, and we concede 2 set plays that ultimately loses the game in between both boxes. And and what have you, we was probably better than them, but they're really, really good at that, and they caused us a problem from set plays and ultimately scored 2 and won the game.
Right then, without much further ado, let's take a look and see the lineup that Richie's opted for to try and get our league form back into business. So starting in goal, Tommy Simpkin starts. He's of course on international duty next weekend, so a big game for him today. It's a back three today with Omar Beckles wearing the armband with Romani Edmonds green and Dan Happy either side of him. It's Teo Adaramola and Sean Clare in the wing-back positions with Idris El Mazouni and Tyreek Bakinson in the midfield. Charlie Wellens will be occupying the 10 role with a front two of Aaron Connolly and Dom Ballard. And on the bench is Killian Cahill, Jack Simpson, Dimitri Mitchell, Jack Morehouse, Azim Abdullahi, Josh Karoma and Jaleng Jayasimi. So an interesting one really. Cardiff, a strong side. Last week we lost the game with 2 goals to set pieces. Do you think maybe 3 centre-backs on the pitch? We've seen this formation a few times this season now. Do you think it's an approach that Richie's taken looking at the opposition in mind?
Yeah, I think it probably is. I think, as we're talking about, it's a bit of an occasion going to Cardiff. It's a big stadium. That's a team that are in form, playing well this season, have a lot of attacking threat. So I imagine it'll probably look closer to a classic away setup. And I guess it's just trying to shore ourselves up. I still there's plenty of attacking threat in that team. Connolly and Ballard obviously scored last week. Adaramola comes back in. We know how direct he can be on the ball. But I guess it's trying to just shore up the defence and try and cut out some of those silly goals.
I mean, that's a big part of it, isn't it? Because if you look at the goals conceded, we're one of the leakiest defences so far this season, and that's not something you'd often put to a Richie Wellens side. You look at the success we've had in recent years; it's clean sheets, no defeats. We'll get back to that, and hopefully that starts today. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, in recent years, that's been our benchmark's been our identity, having a strong defensive unit and being hard to score against. And of previous years when we've gone up to do really well, we've gone on crazy runs of clean sheets and good defending. So I think trying to draw that back in and playing with 3 centre halves, I think he's just trying to be resolute and build that confidence, of being a hard, tough team to break down. And then we've got enough pace and danger to cause trouble on the break. And I think we might have to soak up a bit of pressure at the start, because I think Cardiff will come out roaring, especially after last week at home. But I think there's enough in there to catch them, enough pace and energy to do something. So it'll be an interesting game.
Now we've mapped it out as a 2-1-2 with what we imagine would be Idris and Bakinson holding, Wellens in the 10 and 2 strikers. But we've seen what Connolly's about and dropping deep, and it's probably not going to be as rigid as a 2-1-2, is it? No,
I imagine it will be a bit more fluid, because you could easily see in an attacking situation where Charlie might drift out to the right, Connolly might drift out to the left, and I imagine the expectation will be that Cardiff will have a lot of the ball, particularly in the early stages. That they're confident, they're doing well, that they're a team that like possession. So it will be trying to do what we can do on transition, and that's kind of why we've got the fullbacks we have in play. And I imagine it will be trying to get the ball back and then trying to release it as quickly as possible, and that's why we've got runners, and Charlie Wellens offers that as well. He's a strong runner. Connolly's a strong runner. Adaramola's a strong runner. So I think it'll be looking with that in mind.
Let's highlight Charlie as well, because he's going to be so important. You'd maybe see him as a midfielder. He'll have to do the dirty work today, but also he's had good output. He's got an assist. He's gotten goals. He's going to be the one, as we'll see in some clips shortly, that he can drift out, he can go forward, he can come back. He's going to be very important today.
Yeah, he seems very adaptable in his game, and he can drop in and fill in spaces. If he gets too advanced, he can do the work up there. If someone goes beyond him, he can fill in. So it's going to be important for him to use his cleverness in today's game, whether to break, what positions to hold. But he can clearly has a nice eye for goal. Great weight of pass. We'll see from this ball across the face of the goal for Connolly's goal. He's got he comes from a great academy, so he's very technical as well. And it's nice to see him grow and see how he does well in it.
I think he's also a good foil for Aaron Connolly in a way, because Aaron is a player that likes to take risks on the ball, and that's what you want. You want someone with his intelligence and his ability to get the ball and try and pick out a pass and try and dribble into a space. But I think he's so tidy. He doesn't really give the ball away. He gets the ball, he picks a pass quickly. It's often quite simple. He runs really hard. He's just a really reliable player, and I think he probably suits Conley in a way as well.
For sure, and it's an interesting one how they shape up with the front two as well. We haven't seen much of Conley and Ballard as an out-and-out front two. You don't see it often in the modern game, do you?
No, you don't. But then what's interesting is that from an opposing point of view, they won't know who to follow, where to go. So if Conley does drop in, does the other centre half follow him in, or does it allow Ballard space to go in behind? So it could be an interesting dynamic there.
They're both players that we've seen. Dom likes to drop deep, get on the ball. Conley loves to drop deep. He likes going out wide. It's a hard one for as Jabbo says, to gauge as an opposition.
Yeah, I think the key, and Jabbo I know more than I will, but the key will be just knowing when each of them's going to do it and just reading each other. So when Dom drops in to pick up the ball, Conley has to make the run beyond, Charlie Wellens has to make the run beyond, and vice versa. I think that would just be the challenge, is how well do they know each other as teammates, and trying to make sure that they know when each of them is going to, so they're not taking up the same space, that we have someone that is going to be, running forward as well. What
was your role in a front two back in the day, Jabbo?
I could definitely go in behind. I weren't just someone who could receive the ball well in and around my body, so I could definitely try and stretch. Sometimes I do a bit in the 10 role, you know what I mean, Ollie? But no, but definitely I try and stretch the play, allowing sort of the magical 10 person just to do the bits, and I'll try and keep the play longer.
And then when you are playing then in the front two with another striker, well, I mean, we're calling it a front two, we'll see how it shapes up. But how do you get that understanding? How quick does that take?
I mean, it's something, you let the game flow a little bit. Half the time I knew my partner who was, and we would talk about it in training from the start of the season. We kind of knew each other's game. If you're going to pair with someone new, then sometimes in the warm-up you have a little chat, like, I'm like sharp this way if someone's on the ball, vice versa. And you have a little conversation, and in the game, if someone kind of eats up your space, you don't like it, you say, hey, I'd like to show you there. And you'll communicate throughout the game. And you'll notice different things that they might do better in that moment. So you might go, you know what, having a better time than me, you do it and I'll show up long. So it's just about that communication with each other.
I think Dom might just have to be the one that's a bit more disciplined today, because Aaron is so effective in those deeper areas, that Dom might just have to choose on this occasion not to drop back as often as he does sometimes, and maybe try and hold on the shoulder of the last defender. And I guess it's just see how the game state flows as well.
Yeah, but of course I think, even for Dom, the longer he can stay on the last man and stretch the plays closer to getting that goal, and let Aaron kind of do some of that work, because obviously it's good to get on the ball and be busy, but in the day you're judged on your goals, and you want to be getting on the end of that rather than doing a nice link play but then failing to get into the box.
We saw last week though that they're both capable of being in and around the area and finishing their chances. And we need that, because we need goals. We're talking about defence, but we need to go and win a game. Yeah,
and I imagine that'll be the challenge today, is making sure that when they get the ball, that sometimes they get the ball often enough in and around the box. That's where the fullbacks, Sean Clare, Adramola, will have to try and, when they push forward, to be efficient with the ball, to make sure that actually deliver the ball well, because there might not be lots of opportunities to get forward. So when we do, we need to make sure it counts.
We certainly do. Well, there's just over 15 minutes to go until kickoff. So if you're watching along live on our YouTube preview stream, then this will be finishing just before the game kicks off. But don't worry, you can follow all the action with us here on Orient Live. You can pick up a streaming pass for just £10 if you're watching internationally, or UK fans, you can pick up an audio pass to listen along with Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock. And another quick reminder that our annual International Day is now less than a month away. We're hosting Lincoln City on Saturday the 25th of October, and we'll be celebrating our overseas fans, and there's still time to book your place on our packages. It includes a stadium tour, 3-course meal, and you can watch the match itself, of course, which is always a bonus. And you might even be able to come and check out the Orient Live studio. What a treat that would be. Tickets are on sale for that one now, so head over to the Orient website. But before we proceed and look to the home side in Cardiff, let's hear from Mr. Charlie Wellens.
Thought we did all right. should have got it down, played a bit more, but in terms of spinning them in behind, getting them moving, we had good moments with doing that. And then obviously the negatives, just the goals that we conceded, very easily avoidable. If we do our jobs right. If I'm playing in a 10, obviously I want to create chances for the team. We have a lot of talented players, so if I can just feed them in the right moments, in the right spaces, then something will happen and I'll get assists off that, but mainly the team will start scoring more and hopefully we'll get wins off that. I've been loving it, yeah. I've been loving every time I've been able to get on the pitch, and obviously that's been in spells recently, and then I got my first 90 on the weekend, which was amazing. And yeah, just getting used to the physicality, the intensity of the games, and yeah, it's been really good. Well, we're expecting a footballing side, a team that's full of confidence, really good team for this level. So, we're going to have to be up for it. Whatever game plan we have, we've got to execute it rightly. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but one that we want to impress with, one that we want to challenge ourselves with, and yeah, bounce back. Yeah, any travelling fans always going to be appreciated. Backing the boys really does help. Just keeps us going, keeps us fighting, and obviously if we do get a few goals, it's always good to celebrate with the away fans. We've had really good moments, really good passages of play. It's just been little tiny things that we can adjust, and we will get there. We have a really talented group. It's just, it is a new group as well, so we've still got a click. And yeah, just keep going, keep fighting, and we'll find the way we play, and we'll get it going.
Is lunch at work awesome? If so, tune out now. If not, keep listening. Picture this: chef-made meals from local restaurants brought right into your workplace. No sad sandwiches, no tired menus. By tapping into the local restaurant scene, Fuda powers workplace dining for companies across the US, giving teams flavor, convenience, and authenticity. Half of Glassdoor's best places to work have partnered with Fuda. Is your team ready to upgrade its workplace food scene? Find out how at Fuda.com. That's FOODA.com.
Welcome back. We heard Charlie Wellens just before that ad break. We've spoken about the goals and moving forward as a side. Let's touch very briefly on the kind of the more defensive side of things, where he is still a part of that midfield three with Idris and Tyreek Bakinson. And that's going to be key today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think one of Charlie's best assets is just how diligent he is in, with his running, how hard he works. And so, yeah, those three are going to have to do a lot in terms of covering ground, particularly if Cardiff move the ball around quite a lot. So they're going to have to work hard. They're going to have to be stable. They're going to have to, be effective in those 50-50s.
A lot of quality in the Cardiff midfield, in the whole squad, really. So, as Elliot says, it's about winning our battles, and maybe that's something that we could have improved on from recent games, and a certain dominance, and that starts in midfield, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, you have to set the pace, you have to set the tone in the middle of the park. But you have players that can cover the ground well, and it's going to be important today. But what's really going to be important is just when to recognise when you have to come back in and hold your line a bit instead of going forward. But I think there's enough experience, enough communication within them to sort of be able to do that quite well today.
Bakinson obviously offering something very different to when you have maybe a Sean Clare in midfield. A lot more aerial dominance, a physical midfielder. He's more than that, of course. But do you think that indicates what maybe Richie's expecting from Cardiff today?
Yeah, possibly. I actually think Tyreek's underappreciated in his attacking abilities. I think his movement's good. I think he's effective on the ball. I think he's better than people give him credit for there. But his bread and butter is breaking up play and competing in battles and winning the ball back. And I think that's going to have to be his job in the main today.
Is it fair to say that neither of him or Idris are actually out and out centre defensive midfielders, fours, whatever people want to call it in the modern game? But they're both capable of, as you say, getting on the ball, driving up the pitch. Whether that means Charlie's dropping deeper or whatnot, there's multi assets to that.
Yeah, I think they could definitely be fluid as a three. I imagine that Richie will have them set in a fairly rigid structure. Certainly off the ball, I think it will be important for them to be disciplined in terms of their positioning and make sure that they are, they don't go too crazy in terms of pushing forward, because we might have to get back into shape very quickly. But I think they definitely have the ability to drive forward with it if they want to.
With Ballard and Connolly up top, they're such good players that if you were up top there, Jabbo, are you looking back at your defence going, well, listen, you guys keep it solid, you guys control the game and let us do what we want to do?
Yeah, I used to love that. I used to love when you had a solid group of players behind you, a nice little formation that allowed the front 3 or 4 to go and try and win the game. And you kind of set the press, you work hard and you're within your area, but knowing that, comfortable, who's behind me, I'm comfortable with that and let me go and express myself. So I'd love to be in that situation.
Hopefully that will bring some joy for the O's this afternoon. But let's take a look and see the Cardiff City side that are standing in between the O's and a very crucial 3 points. Starting in goal for Cardiff is number 30. It's Nathan Trott. Across the back line it is Ronan Capacchio, Gabriel Osho, Dylan Lawler and Joel Bagan. In midfield we have Joel Colwell and Ruben Colwell, who wears the armband. We have Ryan Winter as well in the deeper position in midfield, with Callum Robinson and Isaac Davies in the wide positions, with Chris Willock leading the line. And on Brian Barry Murphy's bench they have Matt Turner, William Fish, Callum Chambers, David Turnbull, Rob Tankovics, Yusuf Selech and Omari Kellyman. So, I mean, we've touched on it already, Elliot, but there is just bundles of quality in there. You look at Tuesday night, they lost to Burton. You fear they'll probably be wanting to bounce back from that. Probably a bit of an outlier.
Yeah, I would imagine so. They're an interesting team because they got relegated last season from the Championship, obviously, and they kind of did a big reset but didn't bring a lot of players in. They only brought in 3 players and they've really relied on their academy. I think there's 7 academy players in that starting 11, but 4 of those in fact are Wales internationals. That team is full of quality. Osho, I believe, has played in the Premier League. Callum Robinson's an established name. Chris Willock played for Benfica. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of good talent within that team, and you've seen it with their success early doors.
They've only conceded 6 goals so far this league campaign. Very impressive defence from them. But then again, Stevenage had only conceded 6 before last week's game, and we put 2 past them. So whilst that's there, we've got to get at the defence and ignore what they've done so far and take it on its merits.
Well, definitely. You've seen that Burton went there and got the result amongst heavy pressure, but they went there and got a win. So, and they were bottom of the league. So if they could do it, we can do it for sure. But I think, we've got so much in attack, and Ballard, after scoring last week, he's going to be full of confidence, hungry for a goal. And you always want to test yourself against sort of the better defenders, the better teams, and you set your stall out. So I think it can be very encouraging because if you get a goal, then you feel very confident you can score against anyone.
Yeah, and they started the season really well. But there was a new manager had come in. It was they're carrying it started a bit of momentum that in the last 4 games has dissipated slightly. They've drawn 1, lost 2, only won 1. So if you're going to play them at any point this season so far, now's the time. I'm still expecting them to obviously be very, very strong, but they're there. They can be got at.
They can, hopefully, by us today. Their goals scored as well. They've got a very good goal difference. We'll see some of them now. They're a dangerous side. We've said it over and over again, but this is what Richie will have been playing the lads in training this week. We're going to be alert to their dangers, and we've got to be.
Yeah, you really got to. They've got genuine quality in and around the box. You can see from here, they're not afraid to shoot from distance and have a go, and they're very positive and very direct with what they do. There's no real hesitation once they're in the box. They got one thing in their mind, is to execute their striking and stuff. And then you see they can score from aerially, set plays, good deliveries. So we have to be at it. We have to be at the races, but this is what we play the game for.
At the same time, it feels that they've maybe not quite fully settled on what their best attacking line is. Robinson and Isaac Davis that come into the team today, they've both, of their 10 appearances this season, 8 of them have been substitute appearances. And a lot of their goals come from the bench, so it feels like they're still working out what their best front line is and how to start the game. Because 5 changes today, they're still figuring things out as well.
It's scary if they're still figuring things out and things click for them today, because in terms of the table, there's a bit of a gap between us, but it is still early doors in the season. Can't rely too much on looking at the form. How confident are you, Jabbo, that we can go out and do a job today?
I mean, I think it's going to be a difficult game, one of the more difficult matches. I'm not going to sit here and go, wait, but I think it's going to be a little bit difficult. But again, when we play in big stadiums with big teams, we turn up. Richie always picks an astute team, and the formation generally works against the bigger clubs. So I'm positive, but I just think we're going to be under it a little bit at times. But I think we'll get some opportunities, whether we can just take those moments when they do come.
It does feel in Richie's time here that there have been these games, but I don't know. I think back to some of the games at the beginning of that run last year where it was Barnsley away, and you go, oh, this is a really tough game. They're a really good side. We're not doing fantastic. But he knows how to get a tune.
Yeah, and I think particularly in recent weeks, we've sometimes struggled in games where we've had a lot of the ball and maybe found it difficult to break teams down. This might actually suit us in a way where we might have less of the ball, but we'll have space to attack when we do win it back. Look, obviously be tricky. We're going to have to be really defensively resolute. But as you said, I think we've proven time and time again that Richie's teams can do it in these stadiums.
As League One attendances go, Jabbo, this will probably be one of the higher ones that we'll play in front of this season. Not a full group not a full stadium, sorry, that the lads are coming out to. But we've got to now put the past few games behind us, and we've got to perform.
Yeah, like Rich was saying in his interview, you just got to kind of start clicking. It's not about if, when, just do it now. Let's get the season rolling and get that consistency going that we all know that we're about. And sometimes big games, big stadiums like this is where, you can get the season really going.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully the O's can put on a show for those that have travelled to Wales today. Now then, kick-off is very nearly amongst us. So why don't we head over to Wales and join Matt Hiscock, who's alongside Dave Victor, who's commentating for this one.
Good afternoon and welcome to South Wales, where it is very breezy indeed. It's going to be a fascinating encounter. Two sides who, after recent setbacks at home,